dust turns gold in a patient beam. I tie my laces, hear the kettle sing. The street below is softer than it seems. A paper cup warms up my open hands. A bicycle clicks down the lane. Nothing big is waiting for me now, and somehow that feels like grace. Tiny clouds above the coffee lid, tiny thoughts that drift and fade. I do not need a perfect day, just a road with room to breathe. Coffee steam on the sidewalk, sunlight caught in my sleeve. Little sparks on the pavement, telling my heart to leave. All the heavy noise behind, all the hard-edged midnight air. I can hear the city smiling in the quiet everywhere. The florist sweeps the doorway clean. A radio hums from somewhere near. Someone laughs behind the corner glass, and the sound lands bright and clear. I walk slow enough to notice things. Chalk on boards, a turning page. The world is not a miracle today, but it is kind in modest ways. Small routines can save a soul. Soft repeats can end a week. I do not need a thunder sign, just this warm cup in these streets. If I lose my way again, let it be here beneath this light, where nothing asks too much of me, where morning keeps my name in mind. Coffee steam on the sidewalk, sunlight caught in my sleeve. Little sparks on the pavement, telling my heart to leave. All the heavy noise behind, all the hard-edged midnight air. I can hear the city smiling in the quiet everywhere. Slow and easy into the day. Into the day. At the window by the counter seat, I trace a circle in the fog. Cars pass by like silverfish. Morning moves but never rushes hard. Your name is not inside my phone, and still I think of how you smiled, the kind that stayed a second more and made the whole room feel less wide. Paper cup, paper heart, both too warm to hold for long. Still I keep them near my chest, like a half-remembered song. Morning window, paper cup, clear guitar and waking light. I wear a quiet kind of hope that fits this hour just right. No grand scene, no sudden sign, just breathe against the glass, and a little courage rising while the early shadows pass. The spoon against the ceramic rim keeps a rhythm clean and small. There are people with their folded coats, there are sparrows on the wall. I could call this nothing much, just another weekday start. But small beginnings often hide the bravest moves a heart can make. I have lived in louder rooms, I have chased more dazzling things, but peace arrived in simple clothes with the smell of roasted beans. If I see you down the street, I won't run and I won't hide. I will smile like morning does, gentle this hour just right. No grand scene, no sudden sign. Just breathe against the glass, and a little courage rising while the early shadows pass. Morning window, paper cup, hold me steady, hold me up.
Past the corner store at 10, the bell above the door rings thin. A stack of fruit, a faded sign, and sunlight folding on the bins. There's music from a second floor, a chord progression clean and light. Follows me into the block like a ribbon in the sky. I don't need a destination, I don't need to win the day. Sometimes healing sounds like footsteps choosing not to run away. Slow steps past the corner store, bright strings in the air. I let the morning find me without asking where. There is comfort in the ordinary, in a street that knows my pace. In the bread smell, in the breeze, in this unremarkable grace. A dog pulls hard against the leash. Two school kids race the yellow line. Someone waters little pots outside a shop with wind chimes. I keep walking with my hands half cold in my jacket seams, thinking how a simple day can carry more than it first seems. Maybe joy is not a firework, maybe it's a patient flame showing up in little corners where nobody writes its name. If yesterday was sharp as glass, today is sea glass, smooth and green, tumbled soft by common hours, made gentle by what's been. Slow steps past the corner store, bright strings in the air. I let the morning find me without asking where. There is comfort in the ordinary, in a street that knows my pace, in the bread smell and the breeze, in this unremarkable grace. Just a bell, just the street, just enough to steady me. There's a table in the back where the noon light turns to cream. I sit with all my loose ideas and the milk line in my dream. A page stays open, half unread. My pen rolls softly to the side. I'm somewhere between doing fine and learning not to force the tide. The cup is bitter, then it's sweet. The hour is quiet, then it sings. Sometimes life is held together by the smallest in between. Between espresso and daylight, I find a softer mind. Not the one that counts the damage, but the one that leaves it behind. Between the clink and the sunlight, between the sip and the street, I hear a bright guitar telling me slow can still be complete. A coat hangs on the nearest chair, a scarf falls loose like poured out paint. The barista draws a leaf in foam as if small care could change a day. Maybe it can, maybe it does. Maybe I've missed that truth for years. Chasing thunder, missing rainfall, calling calmness not enough. But the room keeps proving gently that a heart can shift its weight. Not in one dramatic moment, but in tiny sips of grace. If I leave here still uncertain, I will leave here less afraid. Because peace does not arrive all at once, it gathers where we stay. Between espresso and daylight, I find a softer mind. Not the one that counts the damage, but the one that leaves it behind. Between the clink and the sunlight, between the sip and the street, I hear a bright guitar telling me slow can still be complete. Between, I become something lighter. Rain writes sideways on the pane, gray outside, gold in here. The room smells like roasted sugar and the first calm after fear. I wrap both palms around the cup like I'm keeping a promise warm. Like the world outside can blur, but I don't have to follow the storm. Drops race down and disappear, old thoughts do the same. If I sit still long enough, the ache forgets my name. Rain on the glass, warm hands, soft strings under the room. Every sorrow sounds less certain when the coffee starts to bloom. Rain on the glass, warm hands, let the wet streets shine. I don't need the sky to clear to know I'll be alright. Someone closes an umbrella, someone laughs and shakes their coat. The doorbell rings and settles down, and the rhythm keeps me close. I used to think that healing meant sunburst, speed, a bright return. Now I think it looks like this, a quiet place where candles burn. Maybe mending is a window, maybe hope is something brewed. Maybe peace is letting weather pass without becoming it too. Let the city blur in silver, let the clouds lean low and wide. I've got warmth enough for now, and a song that stays inside. Rain on the glass, warm hands, soft strings under the room. Every sorrow sounds less certain when the coffee starts to bloom. Rain on the glass, warm hands, let the wet streets shine. I don't need the sky to clear to know I'll be alright. Rain on the glass, warm hands, that is enough tonight.
patch falls, I let it warm my wrist. There are days when being noticed by the light is all I need. No ceremony, no applause, just the hour opening. Slow, like a flower in a jar on a shelf, nobody knows. Sun on the small table, dust like dancing gold. A simple afternoon, turning tender as it goes. Sun on the small table, clear guitar in bloom. I hear the day say softly, you can be gentle too. There's a notebook by my elbow filled with arrows, half-made plans. But today I leave the future untouched beneath my hand. The spoon spins once inside the mug, the foam leaves rings of cream, and all at once the little room feels wider than my worries. Maybe peace is not an answer, maybe peace is just a pause, long enough to hear your pulse without trying to fix it all. If tomorrow asks for courage, I will give what I can give, but let today be sunlight on the smallest place I live. Sun on the small table, dust like dancing gold. A simple afternoon, turning tender as it goes. Sun on the small table, clear guitar in bloom. I hear the day say softly, you can be gentle too. Gold on the wood, peace in the room. It's a cream-colored afternoon, soft as pages left in sun. The kind of hour that doesn't push, the kind that lets a heart unclench. I hear your voice in memory, not loud, not far, just near enough, like a melody from another room, carried by an easy breeze. Nothing hurts the way it did, nothing shines too hard. Everything is toned and warm, restrained, like light through linen curtains. Cream-colored afternoon, stay a little while with me. Let your soft guitar lines calm the static from my dreams. Cream-colored afternoon, mild and honey bright. You make even lonely feel like a room with open light. People pass in cotton shades, slow shadows cross the cafe floor. A child points at a pastry case, someone waves from near the door. I write one sentence in my book and let the rest remain unsaid, because some days are complete enough without a polished ending. I do not need a grand confession, I do not need a perfect sign. I has to be intense. Cream colored afternoon. Stay a little while with me. Let your soft guitar lines calm the static from my dreams. Cream colored afternoon. Mild and honey bright. You make even lonely feel like a room with open light. Cream and gold, easy on my soul.
You came in late with city wind, still resting on your hair. Laughed and said the train was slow, then dropped your bag beside the chair. Brunch light spilled across the floor and found the edges of your shoes. I swear the whole room turned one notch more awake because of you. It wasn't thunder, wasn't fate, just an ordinary noon. But some people carry brightness like a song carries a tune. Brunch light on your shoes, sun moving when you do. Everything familiar, suddenly looking new. Brunch light on your shoes, clear quartz, a silver spoon. I'm trying not to smile too hard in this wide and easy room. You tore the bread and talked too fast about a movie, about the rain, about the dog you almost took home, about forgetting half your change. I said less than I wanted to. The good lines always come too late, but you kept looking straight at me, like simple words could still be great. Maybe love begins exactly here, not dramatic, not prepared. Just a table, just two drinks, just sunlight resting somewhere near. If I never learn the clever way to tell you what you mean, let my laughing staying longer say the things I couldn't speak. Brunch light on your shoes, sun moving when you do. Everything familiar, suddenly looking new. Brunch light on your shoes, clear quartz, a silver spoon. I'm trying not to smile too hard in this wide and easy room. Stay a little, stay till 2. Brunch light still on your shoes. June hangs blue above the signs, page pages turn behind the glass. I walk the bookstore street alone, but not the lonely kind of way. A guitar rings from somewhere warm, a clean bright line across the heat, and every storefront seems to hum in the language of slow feet. Use book-sized cups, open doors, summer gathering in small things. I could spend a whole life learning how much peace a block can bring. A bookstore street in June, paper air and silver noon. I feel my thoughts get lighter with each bright and careful tune. A bookstore street in June, sun on every window frame. I don't need to be elsewhere to feel my life rearrange. There's a title in the window about beginnings in the sea. There's a stack of travel postcards fanning out like tiny dreams. I buy nothing, still I leave with something weightless in my chest, as if walking long enough lets the heart select what's left. Not every answer has a voice, not every change arrives in storms. Sometimes a street of books and light can tilt the spirit back to warm. If I come here years from now, I hope the signs have barely changed, and I still know this exact feeling. Quiet joy without a name. A bookstore street in June, paper air and silver noon. I feel my thoughts get lighter with each bright and careful tune. A bookstore street in June, sun on every window frame. I don't need to be elsewhere to feel my life rearrange. Pages, pavement, June, all of it in tune. Give me the seat by the bright window, the one where noon arrives in bands, where the glass turns passing traffic into ribbons I can understand. I place my bag beside the wall, order something light and slow, and let the first clear guitar note uncurl the tension in my shoulders. This is not escape exactly, more like meeting myself halfway, where the world is still the world, but it doesn't press so hard. See by the bright window, that's where I come alive, not in crowds or flashing colors, but in softened waking light. See by the bright window, with my coffee cooling down, I can hear my mind grow quieter than the noise outside the town. A woman reads with one hand curled around the edge of her blue mug. Someone sketches crooked lamps, someone wipes a little spill. Tiny lives all sharing space, none of us required to speak, and still the room feels full of care in the gentlest wordless way. I used to chase intensity, thought peace was much too small. Now I know how much a soft lit room can hold without saying all. If my thoughts begin to scatter,
settle on this view, on glass, sunlight, on simple air, on one clean chord cut through. See by the bright window, that's where I come alive. Not in crowds or flashing colors, but in softened waking light. See by the bright window, with my coffee cooling down, I can hear my mind grow quieter, and the noise outside the town. Bright window, keep my place. There's a little bit of sunlight caught inside my afternoon, floating on the top of coffee like a shy and golden moon. The room is small, the mood is clear. Bell rings when the door swings wide, and all the noise I wore all week loosens quietly inside. I never thought such minor things could pull me back this far, but a good song and a warm drink can be gentler than the dark. Sparkle in the quiet cup, soft light in the phone. I thought I had to travel far to feel a little hope. Sparkle in the quiet cup, clear strings in the air. Even my restless heart sits down when this kind of peace is here. I look up and see reflections, double every hanging lamp. The day outside keeps moving fast, but in here it learns to sway. There are moments with no headline, no dramatic edge or rush, just a shimmer on a drink and enough room to trust it. Maybe healing has a texture, creamy, warm and light. Maybe hope arrives in details, too modest to announce themselves. So let the hours stay unimportant, let the room remain unnamed. Some of the sweetest turning points do not ask for praise. Sparkle in the quiet cup, soft light in the phone. I thought I had to travel far to feel a little hope. Sparkle in the quiet cup, clear strings in the air. Even my restless heart sits down when this kind of peace is here. Just the sparkle, just the song, just enough to carry on. The sound of stirring in a cup is softer than a clock, but somehow it can mark a with no thunder. There are shifts too small to see, but still they move the center line of how a heart can breathe. The sound of stirring, the song of a small release, bright guitar under the ceiling, warm rhythm under me. The sound of stirring, gentle circles in a cup. I feel my life grow lighter in these tiny turning arcs. The barista wipes the counter down, a chair scrapes once then still. Outside, a bus sighs at the curb inside. The room keeps healing me, not because it fixes anything, not because it rewrites pain, but because it shows another way to move through what remains. I can stay with what is tender, I can let the hour be plain. I can trust the smallest motions to undo a little strain. If tomorrow asked for strength, today will teach me how, not by force but by returning to the quiet I have now. The sound of stirring, the song of a small release, bright guitar under the ceiling, warm rhythm under me. The sound of stirring, gentle circles in a cup. I feel my life grow lighter in these tiny turning arcs. Round and round, the hard parts settle down. The city looks less sharp today, edges blurred by cream and sun. I step out from the cafe door with soft shoes and an easy pulse. Crosswalk beeps and scooter whirs, glass towers shine without a threat. For once the streets don't ask too much, they just let me pass through them. There are days the town feels heavy, there are days it feels like air. Maybe all that changed this morning was the way I learned to hear it. City latte, soft shoes, walking with a lighter view, silver roads and clean guitars, turning gray into pale blue. City latte, soft shoes, daylight resting on the rails. I'm not escaping where I live, I'm just meeting it in a kinder way. A traffic light becomes a metronome, a bus stop turns into a stage. Someone hums beneath their breath, someone waves from 2 blocks away. All the ordinary machinery keeps its ordinary spin, but my chest is less a locked up room and more a window cracked a bit. Maybe peace in modern places is not silence, not retreat. Maybe it's a private rhythm you can keep while crawling pace, city latte, soft shoes. Walking with a wider view. Silver roads and clean guitars, turning gray into pale blue. City latte, soft shoes. Daylight resting on the rails. I'm not escaping where I live. I'm just meeting it in a kinder way. City, keep this tempo low. Late sun drips across the tables. Amber on the sugar jar. The day is leaning toward evening, but it hasn't dimmed at all. I sit with the remains of coffee, with a song still in the room, with that rare and tender feeling that nothing urgent needs to bloom. I've been tied with expectation, I've been harder than I knew, but this light makes even effort look less like battle, more like truth. Late sun, easy heart, that's the mood I'm learning now. Not a finish line of joy, just a gentler set of hours. Late sun, easy heart, bright strings and slow release. I can feel the day exhale and teach my chest to breathe. 2 seats over, someone closes a laptop with a tired grin. The staff begins to stack the cups, soft end of day routines begin. I should probably head back soon, but I linger for the glow, for the way the glass reflects a quieter version of my face. Maybe peace is not dramatic, maybe peace is simply this, staying long enough to notice how relief arrives and sits. If the night comes with its questions, I won't fear them like before. I have carried daylight with me from this little wooden floor. Late sun, easy heart, that's the mood I'm learning now. Not a finish line of joy, just a gentler set of hours. Late sun, easy heart, bright strings and slow release. I can feel the day exhale and teach my chest to breathe. Easy heart, don't hurry. There are foam clouds on your drink, a crooked heart, then a grin. You laugh because the shape came out more like a leaf than anything. I laugh too hard, then look away, pretend the table needs my eyes, but the room keeps catching me, wanting more than casual time. This is how it starts, I guess, not with fireworks or fate, a story with your hands. Your sleeve slides back against your wrist. Outside the day keeps hurrying. Inside we miss it on purpose. A line of sun creeps toward our cups. Time makes gold across the wood. And every second grows more brave than I expected it could. Maybe love likes modest places. Maybe it prefers soft light. Maybe it arrives in laughter before it learns its proper name. If I speak too soon, forgive me. If I wait too long, stay near. I'm still learning how to trust the good things when they first appear. Foam clouds and first smiles, light steps in the noon. Clear guitar around us, like a bright and easy bloom. Foam clouds and first smiles, something warm and new. I think my heart is learning how to open up to you. Stay till the phone disappears.
We took our cups outside today, metal chairs and open sky. The terrace breeze kept lifting up the corners of the paper napkins. A scooter passed a pigeon stare. Someone's playlist leaked downstairs, and the whole bright scene felt loose enough to let my thoughts unbraid. Noon can be too sharp sometimes, but not with wind like this. Not with sunlight cut by leaves in a tune this clean. Terrace breeze at noon, carry off the gray. Let the clear guitar line wash the long week away. Terrace breeze at noon, white clouds on the move. I feel my mood turn lighter every time the awning sways. You say the summer's coming soon. I say I think it's here already. In the shine along the railing, and how my pulse has settled down. Cars go by like distant waves. Plates click in the room behind us. The city is still the city, yes, but now it sounds almost kind. Maybe joy is not a secret. Maybe I just needed air. Needed room above my shoulders. Needed light without a wall. If I have to head back later to the weight of normal things, let me keep this breeze folded in the lining of my day. Terrace breeze at noon, carry off the gray. Let the clear guitar line wash the long week away. Terrace breeze at noon, white clouds on the move. I feel my mood turn lighter every time the awning sways. Terrace breeze at noon, terrace breeze at noon. Terrace breeze, terrace breeze. Breeze at noon, stay soon, stay soon, stay soon.
Up on the rooftop cafe, the city looks almost handmade. Roofs like folded paper squares, windows flashing like blue light. Tiny bells in the corners sway whenever wind remembers them. And the chord progression under noon makes the skyline feel less hard. From up here all the rush below shrinks into a softer sound. Distance turns the noise to rhythm, height turns pressure into air. Rooftop bells, blue sky, bright strings in a line. I can feel my crowded thoughts opening wide inside. Rooftop bells, blue sky, sun on every pane. For a little while the world and I are easy again. There's iced water on the table, little rings beneath the glass. You point out a cloud that looks like a sleeping cat stretched long. I laugh and nearly lose the straw. The bells shake once the breeze agrees, and all at once it feels absurd that I carried so much weight. Maybe perspective is a kindness, maybe altitude can teach how to look at life more lightly without pretending it is small. When I go back down the stairs, I will take the sky with me. Not above me, but within me, blue and ringing quietly. Rooftop bells and blue sky, bright strings in a line. I can feel my crowded thoughts opening wide inside. Rooftop bells, blue sky, sun on every pane. For a little while the world and I are easy again. Blue sky, small bells, all is well enough. After coffee we kept walking past the corner with the blooms, buckets full of daisies, tulips, tiny tags and pale ink. Your sleeve brushed once against my arm, not enough to call it fate, just enough to make the street feel tuned a little sharper. There are moments barely there that still change the air, like petals caught in bicycle wind, like a smile that lingers. Flowers after coffee, clear sun on the lane. We keep talking like the hour is in no rush to end. Flowers after coffee, soft drums in my chest. I think the day looks prettier because you're in it. You stopped beside the yellow ones and said they look like little fires. I said you always notice things I would have hurried right by. The shop owner tied a ribbon bow. Someone opened up a van, and every little movement seemed to join the brightness of the song. Maybe closeness starts in wonder, and naming colors, naming skies, and learning where another person lets their attention rest. If this stays a channel, maybe I will still be glad for it. For the walk that blooms the sunlight, for how alive the street becomes. coffee after flowers opening out after coffee, after coffee. The cup is empty in my hand, but it still holds a little heat, and I keep one finger in the sleeve like I'm saving it for later. The sky is pale and thinning out, day drifting toward evening blue. I'm walking home through ordinary blocks with a less ordinary calm. Nothing changed and everything changed. The street is the street I know, but my body carries gentleness like a second code. Walking home with warm fingers, clear guitar in my head. All the hard parts of the week, not gone but easier to bear. Walking home with warm fingers, sun fading on the signs. I think peace can travel home if I let it keep its shape. Beside the curb, laundry bends from open windows. Someone waters dusty plants outside a narrow brick apartment. I breathe in once and hold it long, not to fight, just to feel how a small and decent afternoon can stay alive beneath the ribs. I used to leave good moments behind, drop them at the cafe door. Now I gather them like receipts, proof the day had something more. When the room gets dark tonight, I'll remember light on wood, the clean bright line of strings, and the way my hands felt good. Walking home with warm fingers, clear guitar in my head. All the hard parts of the week, not gone but easier to bear. Walking home with warm fingers, sun fading on the signs. I think peace can travel home if I let it keep its shape. Warm fingers, open door. I can carry more than before. By the time the day turns amber, I'm still humming what I heard, that bright little cafe melody, stitched now to the shape of dusk. Storefront lights begin to glow, chairs are stacked in pairs inside, and I walk the cafe street with a tune I didn't have this morning. Funny how a line of music can stay longer than a fear. Funny how a simple day can tune the whole interior. Humming down the cafe street, hands in pockets, easy beat, clear guitar and city lights meeting somewhere soft in me. Humming down the cafe street, after all the noise this week, I am not completely healed. of peach above a shadowed apartment rose, and I feel the kind of gratitude that doesn't need a speech. Maybe joy is not a summit. Maybe it's this gentle thread you can follow through the evening when the louder feelings fade. If tomorrow comes in heavy, I'll begin where